Hello, hello, welcome back in. We're here for the Collegiate Championship Series. I'm Mad Magical, joined in by Alec Battery. In Game 1, we got to get a tour de force of how good Maryville are. They absolutely crushed UCI in that one. Like, there's nothing else we could really say besides that.
Yep.
They just looked so clean, so good. But I want to give a little bit of a shout-out to Zyko. Because we're talking a lot about Scary Jerry versus Gorka, but I feel like Zyko, that was an amazing performance out of this support player. And we've been seeing how much he's been leveling up year after year, split after split, and this game was really just a show of how good he can be.
I think one of the really poignant interviews that we actually got from Zyko was him talking about him never really finding a team that kind of really wanted him as either a starter or more of a long-term commitment. And so finding himself on Maryville and being able to really build out his play alongside some different AD carries was something that he kind of spoke on and thought was a really, really awesome thing that the program gave to him. So again, another through line for us as we talk about Maryville in general, as a lot of these players want to pay back to the program in many different ways for all their different reasons, for a program that has been so storied and one that has given a lot of them so many opportunities to explore in collegiate space.
Yeah, and that's something that I've always had a lot of respect for with Maryville. They clearly care about their players, they care about their students when it comes to League of Legends, and really have given them a lot of resources in order to succeed. That's why, like we were talking before about the legacy of Maryville and how that can put a lot of pressure on these players. It's because they care. They genuinely care about their players and their teams and how they do. There's a reason they've won back in 2019. There's a reason why we've seen them in multiple finals of CLOL or even top fours. They're a really strong team, and that's why it's so difficult here for my alum. You know, I'm still gonna root for them. Let's go UCI, Zot. But man, that game 1, I'm scratching my head on what you can possibly do in Game 2 to really bounce back outside of just trying to set up that bot lane a little bit better, because with Gorka having to go so far down so early, it made it so that mid-game spike you usually get with Kalista, well, a little bit earlier with Lethality Kalista, was just non-existent.
I think the big thing that we saw there was UCI's lack of early game vision. We talked about it a little bit at the beginning. There was a ward on Mike Young's Raptors, so they saw him do this, and then immediately you saw UG move into the bottom side of the map and just go straight for it. They went straight for the dive after that. We saw that on the bounce back, once we saw Mike Young actually take his recall, come back, go to the Gromp, he was already late for the play. The play had already started right as he arrives to the Gromp. We need to see UCI getting some early vision, trying to see where UG is, and then also playing to protect his camps. And I think this also comes from two things. One, you have a losing topside matchup, so I think pathing away from this is probably going to be a little bit better than Mike Young trying to go up towards that, going for a 2-camp and then looking for something top lane. And then also, unfortunately, this was just a matter of bot lane got an advantage, right?
Yeah.
It was a hook that we found onto, first it was onto Cerulean, and then we got the cleanse out of Gorka. Then we saw the flash eventually come through. It turns into a snowball of effects that leads to that dive being so good for Maryville.
Yeah, I mean, he was level 1 while they were level 4. Right when you're coming back into lane, you're just like, there's not much you can do there. You're so susceptible to get dove there. They killed him really quickly. They reset. They got back on the map really quick. They had even more vision, as you were talking about how good the vision of Maryville was there. That bot river, after that play, was all blue. There was no red. They had no way to enter and try to get maybe a little bit of a contest, say, from mid lane if they want to have Mike Young go for an invade, send Cinnamon with the jungler to try to maybe get some things back, because there was no path that they could do. Top lane, you're not going to get Cassante coming back. He's getting pushed in by Twisted Fate the whole time. Bot lane's not going to help you out either. It's only the mid lane that could have, and that was already taken away. Yeah,
it was literally like he made the play bottom lane, bot lane's ruined. We already talked about top lane. And then he walks mid, and they get the kill there. So Mike Young presses tab, and he's like, well, now I'm screwed.
Yeah, he's like, what can I do? What can I do? I don't have a blue buff. I'm already down in experience. No lanes to gank.
We blame the coach. That's okay. That was a coach cap. We drafted a losing lane top lane, and then we pathed towards it. It's okay. Remember, for everybody at home, if you are a player, if you lose the game, it's coach diff, and if you win the game, it's player diff. So you want to make sure that we're clear on that for the rest of the audience.
Is that how we're like extrapolating this from just blame the jungler? Now it's blame the coach?
Oh yeah, it's always been blame the coach. It's always been blame the coach. You can't blame your jungler unless you're inspired. Then you can do that. Then you start blaming your laners, and that's okay. But if you're here playing in collegiate, you're probably not going to be blaming Mike Young, especially if you're someone like Elated or if you're someone like Cerulean. You don't have to blame your jungler. Just keep blaming your coach. The coach is always going to be good.
I don't think the coach was controlling the keyboard and the mouse during that game, though. That's all
I don't know what you're talking about. That's not for players to think about. They don't think about that part.
Oh, well, I'm thinking about that part. I'm thinking about Game 2 and how the draft can be different going for UCI. What can they really change? I feel like maybe taking away that Varus might be the option. They banned Ashe beforehand. I feel like just with how good Scary Jerry has been this entire split on Varus, you just can't let him have it. He's just too good at the champ right now.
Probably true. I think also, despite some of the awesome looks that we got from both of our supports here, I don't know if Thresh was really the angle that I looked for there. When we look at Thresh, I think two of the most important things when we look at this champion, not only in his playmaking, but also his ability to deny the opponents, right? The Flay, the Lantern, these two different abilities make it very difficult to find engages onto specific carries. But then, against the Maokai, when are you ever going to stop him in the middle of a twisted advance? Never.
Never.
When are you ever going to stop him with an ultimate? You're not that tanky as a Thresh very early on, so it doesn't quite fit. Also, I just think R5 Cassante, when you have Twisted Fate and Jace up on the enemy team, just not a great idea. I think this was a waste of draft resources, unfortunately, for Elated. And I'm hoping coming into Game 2, where we have same sides, we get something a little bit different there.
Well, right now, nothing different so far. We got Vi, Senna getting banned by Maryville. UCI still on the red side. Poppy taken out of the equation. Wouldn't be surprised if that is Ashe as well. Pretty much keeping the first 4 bans the same. Yeah. Well, actually, Poppy was banned last by UCI last time, but you know what I mean. Keeping a lot of the bans the same. Take away the Ashe. I think it's going to be Ashe bars from the UCI here, and I think there's no reason to change it here for Maryville. Okay. They are going to just ban that Draven.
Interesting. You know, it was so funny when we were looking at all of Challengers League this last split. I was thinking whether or not we were going to actually see Scary Jerry pick up this Draven, because he was one of the few players last year who actually did pull this champion out in certain spots. So I was kind of sad to see him not really pull too many Draven games. But this time around, they didn't ban the Skarner in opting for the Twisted Fate. So now they've gone for this on the first pick for Maryville, which does mean that they can go for double range bottom lane here for Gorka and Cerulean. They can go for the Varus Callista if they really want to. And I think that would be a really good precedent to set up against Scary Jerry and Zyko.
Yeah, I actually am with you on that one. I like this from UCI. The only thing is that Skarner. The Skarner is just so good, and he's so annoying to deal with, having played him a ton on the PvE and then on to live. This champion, I think, is just not fair. The range that he gets, the damage. By the way, Hell plays is the superior piece, so I'm just going to say it.
Okay. I'll go look at the numbers here.
It's actually it's pretty nuts going Halo Blades, just because you can actually kill someone level 4 just with picking up the boulder and smashing it.
Yes, level 4 power spike Skarner. This is the
it's wild. It's wild, and you build him tank too, and you just have a level 4 power spike. It's absolutely insane. But it isn't going to be what we expected. It is going to be Kalista Thresh into the bot lane again for Gorka Cerulean. As Scary Jerry Zyko, they're like, all right, if it ain't broke, don't fix. Go for Varus and Nautilus again. The only real difference is we are getting Elated onto Rumble. This is something that we were talking about before that has been not permanently banned away from UCI, but has gotten a lot of bans because Elated has been so good on it. Even if Elated's like, I'm not just a Rumble player, he plays it very well.
Who cares if he's just a Rumble player? We need wins. Drop ego. Like we're like, I don't want to be known as a Rumble OTP in comp. Well, guess what? We need wins, buddy. So you better get on that champion and start performing. Already we're getting into the second phase of bans. Aatrox taken away. Obviously a really big pick. One of Niall's most played in Challengers League this last split. And so also taking away some playmaking mids. Ari away from Spyrax. I think is interesting. Nico this time is actually...
I think this is an R angle with a flex for Niles. Take the Skarner, put it into jungle or put it mid lane for Spyrax, and go for Gnar into the top lane. I feel like that might be the call here for Maryville.
Okay. I'd be interested to see it. I did look for some Skarner games here.
Gnar is the most played champion by Niles, if I recall.
Yeah, we can. We'll take a look at this afterwards. So Maryville now opting for the Talia in mid lane. Obviously, generically very strong, and obviously allows for a lot more playmaking. We're talking about going towards side lanes, diving bottom lane. This is champion that is very premiered here. Interesting to note, we didn't touch on it too much here. This time, actually, Mike Young getting the Lee Sin, so a comfort champion for him. But Cerulean grabbing, going for the Thresh again.
Do you flex the Talia here and put Yuji on it?
I think you could. Going into Lee Sin, I don't think it's a great matchup, especially in the jungle. You need something in the mid lane that can guarantee priority and is also maybe just a little bit tanky. Okay, so it's going to be a Viego here for UG. So big eyes on UG. I was going to say, we were really going to get tank UG 2 games in a row when we know him to be such a great tank player, or a great carry player individually. Really cool to see that, he's kind of flexing both muscles, which he's built out over this last split.
And LeBlanc going to round out the comp for UCI here into the mid lane. That's a lot of mobility for UCI, which Spyrex is going to enjoy because he can just put down the rocks, make it a little bit difficult for them to dash around some of these fights. And a big thing is looking at Niles on how he's going to play it in this top lane up against Rumble. It's Elated's Rumble. There's not going to be quite as easy as other players, and it's also Rumble early. I was talking about Skarner. Like, if you go Hail Blades, you can have the level 4 power spike. But really, you look at Skarner and how he can do when he scales into the game, when he becomes more tanky, when he gets really annoying, plus his ability to wave clear either safely from distance or right in the face of you.
I'm interested to see how this plays out. I'm always interested in how, interactions kind of play, and we're seeing how the micro of certain matchups goes, because obviously we have the LeBlanc. This is a champion that is getting a lot of steam recently, especially for someone like Humanoid who just played it in MSI.
Anymore.
Yes, I know. LeBlanc being able to have good targets and being able to deal damage in this game is going to be very difficult, I think, just because you have a Nautilus who point click is just going to be able to disable you anytime you go into a fight. You also have Niles who, if he's really quick with it, can actually press his E and grab you mid-air and immediately slam you into a wall.
Yes.
And that's definitely not going to be good for LeBlanc. So when we're looking at Cinnamon Bread, someone who individually has been pretty impressive here and there is definitely going to need to step up.
No, I agree. I completely agree. Especially if you're getting this LeBlanc and you're using that as your R5. I want to see Cinnamon Bread really step up in this game. I want to see Elated step up in this game. They don't really have a beefy front line compared to that of Maryville, so if you don't win pretty early into this game, it is going to be difficult. Niles will absorb a lot of that damage really easily. It's kind of absurd how many times you can get Seismic Bastion as Skarner late game. It's pretty much a 3-second shield. It's ridiculous.
So here for UCI, what I'd love to see is obviously they do have the ability to push early game. You have the Rumble going up against the Skarner. You can be able to poke him out at least a little bit before maybe he gets his shields available to him. And obviously, not a mana champion. Doesn't have to worry about that, whereas Skarner may have to worry about that in the early game until he picks up some kind of items and he's able to Sunfire.
Dimitri,
what's up?
I'm a little yes, they have the early game comp. They have good wave clear.
Yeah.
But I am still worried for UCI. And the reason is they had the same bot lane last time around. And we saw how Scary Jerry and Zyko played that. We
just win it this time.
Well, we also saw the vision control from Maryville in that last game.
Yeah.
And that is really actually what makes me worry here for UCI, is because if Mike Young gets put behind again and it's against a Viego, something that is going to do insanely well in team fights, and you're not able to steamroll this game as UCI, this game might end quicker than the last.
This is also going to be, I think, a little bit harder to actually dive, right? I think, again, when we talked about coming out of Game 1, what were some of the highlights? It was the fact that UG had Engage and was able to make the dive bottom lane happen, make that move into mid. With this Viego, it's not as easy. It is definitely not as easy to be able to pull off, and especially with a Thresh this time up against specifically the Viego, I think there is going to be a slightly better option for UCI to be able to make stuff happen. I will also just say, again, just win the level 2. Like, we've seen so many games in professional, in Tier 2, and Collegiate, where we see bottom lanes play the exact same champions, and then we see them win the matchup on either side. Like, both of them. It doesn't matter.
Dimitri, what are you going to do if they win the level 2? You got to do something.
You gotta.
UCI. If UCI win the level 2, what are you gonna do?
I'm not gonna do anything. I'm gonna be happy that they're winning. No.
I wanna have something given over to UCI. The players there. Maybe you gotta tweet out.
They can get the win. How about that? Let's start there. They're gonna get 3-0.
No. We're doing this.
Okay.
The level 2. If they win this, you gotta tweet out. What should you tweet out? You know what? You should just tweet out a picture of an anteater, because that's the mascot of UCI.
I already did. I tweeted that for the.
Just an anteater. Yeah, no context, none. Just an anteater, and I'll get the one of the anteater. I'll find the picture.
Oh, this is not going to be good. Okay, so what happens if they don't win it? What happens then, huh?
Nothing.
What happens when Scary Jerry Zyko run them over like dogs? Then what happens?
Nothing, because I don't want to tweet anything.
Oh, nice. Nice one, man. Good one.
Fine. What's the mascot of Maryville again? The Saints?
It's like a, okay, I literally used to know this because I was doing like a Maryville stream a while ago.
I think it's
So
the
it's the
Maryville
Saints,
right? Yeah.
Yes, but it's a
Okay.
dog. So I'm trying to find the name of the dog.
Okay, find the name of the dog, and I'll tweet that out if they win the level 2.
Okay.
But if it's no win,
It's
if
Louis.
no
Louis the Saint
Louis,
Bernard.
okay.
I knew it was a.
And
I knew
if
it
no
was
one
a-
dies level 2 from either side, then just nothing happens. That's when nothing
Yeah.
will happen. So we'll have that. We'll use that for this game. Just because I want to look at this one, I want to see UCI really pop off early. I have faith in them. We got the Zots. Come on, my alumni can do it. But I also am a big fan of Maryville. I'm a big fan of Clarkey and what he's done with this school and this collegiate program. So honestly, it's one of those situations where it's tough for me. As much as I want Maryville to win, I also have to root for my alumni. But honestly, at the end of the day, I just want the players to have fun, to learn, to grow, to experience things like this, especially for players like on UCI. Got to get this great experience up against a team that was dominating in the Challengers League. It's hard not to stress that enough for players and for viewers out there. This is not just any collegiate program. They were going toe-to-toe with Tier 2s and nearly winning the entire competition. They got to the finals in playoffs.
This is probably the most in terms of League of Legends programs that we've had from collegiate. A lot of people tend to talk about the strength of collegiate in general, but almost always it comes back to Maryville, and then you can start inserting. For everybody at home who might be saying, Casters, when are you going to start the game?
Start the game!
We are currently experiencing a delay at this moment, so we are going to hopefully, I think, wait.
Yeah, we're going
to we're gonna send it to a break just because Jerry had a PC crash, so we're trying to get him back into the lobby and stuff. So things happen, and when we're back, we'll be getting into game 2.
Boom, we're back. The button is now going to work. We actually got me a new button. That's what we really were waiting on. We weren't waiting for any player's PC to get fixed or anything.
True.
It's purely to give me a button so I can start the game, right?
Yep. Go ahead and hit the button. They did not get you a new button, did they?
It got me a new button. It's just not working.
So we got to get you a new button then.
Just throw away the button. There we go. Oh, it was delayed. It was a delayed button. All right, that's what it was. Okay, we're in the game. That's what happened. Maybe I just wasn't hitting it hard enough. It didn't understand. It didn't register. But here we are, Game 2. Maryville University, University of California, Irvine. Face off against each other. The Saints versus the Anteaters. We got UCI all grouped up here in this top side of the map. I like these plays. You know me and my shenanigans, Dimitri. I love these plays.
It looks like they are not going for any of these plays. I'm sorry to break your heart.
Ooh, it's also because it's Skarner. He's just so scary now.
Aftershock Skarner. Well, I'm sorry, man. He's not winning the level 4. He's not winning the level 4.
Yeah, he's not. How is he gonna win the level 4?
Yeah. Sorry, man. We already know that the top lane matchup is decided at level 4.
It is. Also, just gotta say this too. Lethality Skarner, fun.
That sounds like you should be investigated for some war crimes. I'm going to keep it stacked.
It is so fun, and it shouldn't work as well as it does. It works way too well.
I think building Lethality Skarner is, you know, there's a level of like having empathy for your fellow man, and I feel like going Lethality Skarner is not the...
I lost that years ago, just like UG and Maryville, because they are invading level 1.
Lane swapping, wait.
Yeah, they're lane swapping, they're invading. Elated getting tagged by the dredge line, and Niles chasing him away as well. Wait, we're not really lane swapping because Skarner's still top lane.
Yeah, this is like the Scion level strat of going for this, where you're swapping your top laner is actually going to try and help. I mean, there's not much for Skarner he's going to be able to do, right? And the wave hasn't crashed, so what he's going to do is he's going to help UG out on farming some of these camps, accelerate his clear.
Yeah.
Oh no!
Oh my goodness!
He got the red buff. Wait, that's huge! That's golden experience that's missing from Yuji. He might not hit level 3 in time.
It was the quaking. The quaking got the kill onto it. Oh, Yuji. You know what? Honestly, I respect
paying your top laner.
No. This is a golden play. Now Niles can go into lane and just gotta find out where Elated is and try to kill him. That's what it is.
I think
level 4 power spike is real here, Dimitri.
Wow. All right. Well, guess what? We're also going to be splitting plates here. It seems like they are all moving down into this bottom side. This wave is finally going to crash in the bottom side of this map. Lee Sin is going to be here to try to steal away some camps. I can't believe we're doing this to a Rumble and a Skarner, man. Like, this is... Yeah. I hate that this is the state of League of Legends right now. Oh, my... Oh, wait.
I'm okay with it happening to Skarner. I'm okay with it happening to Skarner, but Rumble, that feels bad. That one's a real feels bad, and... we won't see anything really happen between the two sides, not for a bit. That's the one thing about lane swaps. I actually don't mind them, because it actually accelerates ADCs. It makes teamfights happen a lot earlier. True. But it also makes the first 10 minutes of the game where we could turn the stream off, we could just go take a nap and come back.
Okay, well, Yuji has full vision of this.
Niles has red buff.
Is level 1.
Did he get him?
I think
Skarner got some of the chickens.
Skarner may have gotten some of the small chickens.
Yeah, not the big one, not the big one.
Yeah, well, Mike Young is going to do what Yuji
he didn't get it.
Which is getting his getting a red buff available to him.
It's his red
while
buff
they have split the map vertically when we're talking about this, they're just getting Lee Sin a lot of gold, which I don't know if this is necessarily worth it.
Nice body block. I like that body block. Just die. It's okay. You keep Sparks alive, but it was a good play there from UCI. Just saying, hey, they already have peeled back the top and jungle. They're trying to get that top scuttle. We can kill at least someone mid lane.
This is actually, I would consider this a pretty big win for UCI. Obviously, they're saying, okay, we got a camp advantage for ourselves. We got Lee Sin to be a little bit more accelerated, but they didn't get too much. Obviously, a lot of this gold is in Gorika's back pocket. They were actually able to get 3 plates, whereas Maryville only got 2 plates bottom lane, and they only got 1 in top lane for Scary Jerry and Zyko. Plus, they also got the first blood, so it's not perfect. And I think that there are some areas that I think Maryville are probably going to say, okay, we didn't execute on that perfectly, but I think we got basically what we wanted, even with some mishaps. Yuji, though, getting accelerated here in the jungle is really, really good. As soon as you get that level 6 for this Viego, feels like a completely different champion because you have so much more access to your passive.
The only thing that I like for UCI, outside of getting that first blood kill and having Elated get the gold for it, is the fact that Gorka had that free time in the bot lane. But now we go to the top lane, that's Ixtal's Impact Dragon back in Elated. That's a fat minion wave that they can get after killing you. Tries to get into the alcove. Hiding it back, Flamesbitter on with the flash away flash from Skarner. He might get the shield back in, overheat. Is it going to be enough? He's got the cooldowns, there's the shield. Yuji flashing to make sure they can secure that kill.
Ooh, good job, and especially with the wave, with where it's at, elated, no flash, no teleport, he's going to be cut off from more golden experience. It just means that Skarner is going to be picking up all of this available to him. And it was a little dicey there, you have to admit. Like, Skarner was getting pretty low. Niles had to use the flash to be able to get out, so did UG. We'll see what UC are able to get on the back end of this play. Remember, they have split the map, at least for the time being. Scary Jerry, though, looks like they're going for some looks here. Actually going for the lethality this time, and obviously, damage-wise, has a lot less than Gorka. Gorka going for the double boot or the double longsword and has the boots, where Scary Jerry only got boots and a tier. So in terms of combat effectiveness, I'm expecting for Gorka to apply a little bit more pressure.
Well, we have a fight in the bot lane because UG and Mike Young have both shown up, and they got a lot of damage on Cerulean, but he's escaping, and they've got the run stacked up on top of you. The flash is in to make sure they can secure that kill. One more auto. Gorka getting the credit as the death sentence did not hit onto either bot laner, but they will survive. That's going to be the dredge line instead onto Gorka, but I don't think you actually wanted that one, Zyko, because that got close. If he had the rend up, I think he dies.
I wonder if they were maybe going to try to wait for that play, just because we see Cerulean, the Ignite was like a few seconds off. Maybe if there was something going on there, they could have gone for something, but...
Oh, weird interaction
nice shot from Spyrax. Yeah, just tries to shove him over that little corner of the wall. Unfortunately, isn't able to make that happen. Lee Sin is staying here, so they're going to try to go for a dive. This mini wave is huge. Zyko doesn't have enough HP. They're going to be focusing onto this Nautilus. And if they don't make this work, if they don't get much, I mean, Yuji is going to take the Void Grubs.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay, good. If that hadn't worked, there would have also been a Raptor camp for him. So, again, accelerating this Viego, a very good point for Maryville.
I think that UCI making the correct call here. Don't go for the dive. Just go get Gorka back so he can recall, get back into lane. You already have your block back on the map a little faster. Weaver's Wall and TP aren't there for Spyrax. So you not only are you going to contest getting this dragon, but you are just going to make it fully yours. There's really no answer that Maryville will have onto this.
Okay. I'm interested to see, obviously Yuji didn't want to cross the river line. I would have thought maybe you could greed. We obviously have God Vision, so he doesn't know where Lee Sin is, could be on this side of the map. And again, Spyrax did just take a recall, so didn't have priority from some of his lanes. We're already seeing Niles actually move out of the lane. This is one of the really wacky things about playing against New Skarner, is he just has so many innovative gank paths coming in.
Speaking of which, that's going to be Ixtal's impact, not connecting onto Cinnamon Bread, but the Impale dodged away. Cinnamon dodging, but he does take a boulder to the face. So takes a lot of damage, and Niles going to go right back to the top lane. Actually going to back first and get some items before going and visiting back to his lane.
Again, all of this is just playing for the jungle. It's unfortunate for Niles that none of those spells ended up connecting. That could have been a kill, or at least forcing the summoner spells out from Cinnamon Bread, but it turns into more of a camp advantage. Being able to take the red buff, this time for Yuji getting his first red buff of the game. And I wonder if, with his bottom lane pushing in, and with UCI also having the timers for all of these bottom camps, are we going to see a small skirmish for potentially going for Raptors or the enemy red buff? Because both teams should be looking to try to play around this. And if Mike Young hits he should hit level 6 on this Gromp, there is definitely a play for them to go for bottom lane now that Gorka has ultimate as well.
We do see Mike Young hanging out. There's a control ward in the tri-bush. Could defend Scary Jerry and Zyko, and spotted out for, I think, half a second there. Scary Jerry, Zyko will fall back. You know, and the wave's kind of frozen in a bad spot. They really need Yuji to get into the spot lane if they want to contest this dive that I think they're wanting to set up. Look at how they're already positioning Mike Young and Cerulean. Even if they get spotted out by the control ward,
Cinnamon's also coming as well.
Yeah, they got the rotation. Yuji in the backup. Will get the sun on 2-1, but that's going to be the hook not connecting. Hex Flash disengaging. Spyrax not there.
They can keep
Still
going
in mid lane.
for this,
Yeah, they could keep going with Scary Jerry as low as he is. They could look for that, and especially because Spyrax not going to be able to join in. That Weaver's Wall not there, but Cinnamon Bread also disengaging might be the call-off.
So he actually got a huge chunk onto Talia, and this might be a case where forces out a recall and maybe tries to look to try to get Spyrax's TP on the bottom lane.
That's a
flash again from our mid laners here. They've been trading this summoner spell on cooldown, 9.5 minutes in. I'm wondering if they were trying to go for that. I mean, so he actually uses the ult to get out of mid lane here.
Yeah.
And now that they can't play for Raptors, it's just a small advantage here for UCI. They're going to use this time. Okay, they're going to go for it again.
Yeah.
Looking to try to force a teleport again. If they get this out from Spyrax, it's a big win.
DP mid lane, but we go top lane. Ixtal's impact in the stun. Elated fighting against Niles, but Niles was level 7. Throws a rock at him as well. Into the bot lane. The play we were setting up is Scary Jerry getting back to the lane. With the positioning of Cerulean, you have to expect that they're going to be there. Putting the ward confirms it. Yuji was on the other side. Oh no, he's on the other side of the map, so not going to contest that at all. While Elated,
Great job, Elated.
yeah, just using that to kind of get some lane control with the flash from Niles. What an impale! What a play from the top lane, even if flashes away. Elated surviving, throws the rock, gets the solo polo!
That's what I wanted to see. One of the cool things you can do with Skarner and his E is that it has basically an instantaneous turn radius. So if you go to turn and you are on top of the enemy champion, you will just do a full 180. There is zero delay there, and you can put him right up against the rock. So good job from Niles. Gets that solo kill. Finally finds some of those combos that are able to work for him. And that opens up a lot of space from the top lane. I did kind of want to touch on, because we talked about it from the bottom lane perspective, but they did actually end up winning the bot lane this time. They kind of flipped it this time. They got it to work, so my Twitter account is feeling safe. But finding that kill top lane does open up some of this map, just because of the fact that now they're going to be able to get this wave under the turret, and if they don't want the turret plates, they can just go straight for these Void Grubs. Maryville already having 3, so being able to cut them off from that is great. Also a full completed item here for Gorica, finishing the Hubris.
Yeah, going back to that lethality here on Kalista. Just wanting to get more damage in these fights. The Void Grubs should be secured by UCI. As we can see, the bot lane, Scary Jerry Zyko still hanging out in the bot lane, even maybe setting up a dive with UG there, knowing that UCI are definitely onto that objective.
Elated, you're not allowed to be here.
Oh, no. Don't back there. Gonna get spotted out. That's gonna be Spectral Maw getting the stun. Now puts out the Flame Spitter, doing a lot of damage to UG, but look at how much is thrown right back at him. Heartbreaker looking for the dive with another stun, but one pierce of the blade to pick up a solo bolo. This time it's UG.
Well, again, they got the kills there, and now they're able to get some more turret plates. The bottom lane from UCI didn't get all that much. They got the objective, and now they're going straight down bottom lane. That's a very big win for Maryville. Unfortunately for UCI, they didn't push their advantage in topside, just saying, look, we're just going to abandon this. It's not really worth us trying to contest for this. Maybe I think the argument that they were going to make here is that Dragon is spawning soon. Nice play on Spyrax.
Looking for Spyrax, but Spyrax throwing these rocks and getting a nice shove on a Cinnamon Bread. Got the right one, but doesn't matter because Mike Young will get shut down gold.
450 gold there for Mike Young, but they used all of their resources right now. They're going to have to take time to recall, get back out onto the map, and then this time Maryville, they're already back out onto this.
Another
they're
impale.
Moving in. I don't know if this is going to be a solo.
No, he doesn't have enough damage here. He's gone tank Skarner. Needs more levels, more items to really actually have that full burn damage you get with the Quake.
Okay, I love that this champion just has stupid wave clear. At least it's more interactive than it was before.
True.
In the way that it's not just, I put my fist through the keyboard like I'm playing Hecarim, and my champion does no damage.
It was fun doing that with Skarner when it was really OP. Yeah. Just punching the keyboard and be like, yep, I win. And then he got weak and then he wasn't fun. Now it's fun.
Yeah. Anyway, don't think this is going to be the Dragon. Instead, it looks like they're opting for these topside camps, either going for another dive onto this Rumble or just playing for the Herald that is spawning pretty soon. So would it be interesting to see? It is 45 seconds, so it just looks like they're going to be going for at least a few of these camps topside. We're actually seeing Cinnamon Bread trying to cover for this play.
Elated was getting some good damage there on to Niles. Niles taking up the turret a little bit too long. Thankfully, you could just burrow your way out under the walls.
This is a cool champion, I think.
Yeah, so just gets himself out of there. Now we see a hook from Cerulean. Zyko taking a lot of a beating there, getting the rent stack, but they already got the depth charge with the Change of Corruption, making sure that he's not getting in range with the piercing arrow flashed away from the death sentence. Scary Jerry cutting him out in that TP. Scary Jerry's popped that ghost, and he is on the hunt. Flash away with the Cade's call. They'll survive, but Niles having to use the Ixal's impact away while Elated is still kind of low. I don't know if they can continue this fight at all for UCI, especially when they miss the hook and they landed. That is an equalizer, getting a little bit of damage with Mike Young and Yuji on the other side. Delayed fight. Jungler versus jungler into the back line, but look at Yuji. Wanted to get that stun. They wanted to get this kill. He has the resets if he can get one. Just one kill. Flash in! Zyko again! There's that one reset! But it is going to be a 1-for-1. It's a top lane for his support. That's going to be favoring Maryville. Well, Cinnamon Bread now in the bot lane, but he's low as well. Everyone has joined in, and they're waiting to re-engage. LaRock not connecting, jumping forward, just putting down the orb. Shockwave is well hitting, but they have to realize they got to get out of here. Yuji still on the hunt, wanting those kills so bad.
What a great play coming out from both teams. I think mechanically we got to see some really cool things. Elated using the ultimate immediately stops them from re-engaging onto someone like Cerulean
Cinnamon Bread?
or Gorica. Cinnamon Bread? Cinnamon Bread? Okay, well, Typically, when we talk about Talia, this is like the theoretical value of what this champion brings.
Yep.
Just being able to use the E, but usually when we see these matchups, both laners understand that that's just not allowed to happen. Like, you just don't do it. So, getting that solo kill opens up a lot for the side of Maryville. Obviously, gives them time to find recalls. You get some damage on the mid lane. And again, UCI slowly starting to kind of slip into some bad habits there, mechanically speaking.
Yeah, just a little bit there, especially now that we're 15 minutes into the game. Rift Herald on the line. We've got to keep people nearby, and Cinnamon Bread without that TP to join in. Gonna get spotted out by the control ward bot lane, which gives all of the information Maryville are gonna need. That there's not gonna be an actual fight around this Rift Herald. UCI probably gonna have to fall back.
I wonder if they're going to try to force for this. They do have Rumble Ultimate. They might not be able to get the objective, but they could try to maybe chase after the fact.
I don't know if
they
they
seem like
could.
they're in a great position,
No,
however.
they're not.
Mike Young going for the steal.
Might be able to smite it away. No, he does not. Lantern taken, but
Okay.
guess who's on the other side? Hello, it's me, Niles. The kick there with the Weaver's Wall. The cut of any retreat. It's a flash over the wall with the death charge connecting onto Mike Young. But really, now they got to turn their attention onto the
What's
carry.
going on here?
Impaled by Gorka as they got to flash away. The Equalizer burning down Zyko. He might trade his own life for that one. He will die, getting burned alive. But it's still the trades that they need, and they have the turret as low as they could possibly want.
Okay, Cinnamon Bread also splitting on the other side of the map, so not a complete loss there for University of California, Irvine, but I just don't think this is worth it. They lost the Rift Herald, they lost a kill onto Gorka, they also got the top tier 1 in trade for it, so going even at best for UCI is not what you want to do, especially when you had that small advantage earlier on. Now you're looking at down the barrel of, it is 4,000 gold, and for UCI, now it's all hopes are laid on this dragon. Can we actually get to a point where maybe we get a Mountain Soul? It's not the most in terms of combat effectiveness, but the shield is going to be nice.
Yeah.
I just don't know if it's going to be enough to be able to pull them out of this, because this is a dangerous situation to be in.
Hey, you'd rather have it than not have it at this rate. That's going to be the big thing for UCI.
Talia's so OP this game,
I
though.
know.
Like
She's
Kalista,
so good. She's so good here.
LeBlanc, you have Lee Sin. All of these champions are literally crying. And again, they picked this, right? This was a blind Talia that we got to see. And we still opted for matchups like the LeBlanc.
Yeah, now Byrex chasing down Elated, but he's getting chased himself. A nice shield. They try to dash back with a distortion, but Spyrex saying, all right,
Nice,
death through combat. Almost was able to get Elated, but guess who actually is going to get it? They got the movement speed. Hello, Scary Jerry. Piercing arrow from downtown, Scary Jerry.
There we go. And looks like they're going to try and find Cinnamon Bread. He should be out.
Yeah, he's out. He's definitely out of that one.
Oh, he stayed. Did he show on vision there? They did ping it. They know.
They know. All right, distortion. Is it double distortion? Yep, double distortion away. Scary Jerry's pretty fast. Yomu's got him nearly there.
Wow. Okay. So, making a play. They committed so much towards topside. The dragon is spawning here. Maryville, they do still have this Rift Herald, and I wonder if they're just going to decide, we're going to trade this dragon, we're going to trade up in terms of gold, and try to make a play for the rest of the map here, as they still have the Rift Herald. But they called in some TPs. Oh, Cinnamon Bread, okay, still has Flash, he has Distortion. He shouldn't be spotted, he's in Fog of War.
Yeah, they don't know. Okay, I thought they might have a ward on the Raptors. Now he's going to be spotted out with the Rift Herald, called mid lane. That's going to give a free charge on the tier 2 with Cinnamon Bread spotted out, tagged by the upheaval. Takes a little bit of damage from those rocks, dashing away from the Chains of Corruption. Well, the chain from Cerulean didn't connect, nor did the Dredge line, but it got him into the back line. That's all they need. Fox placed up. Look at the back line. Scary Jerry almost eliminated.
Okay.
Well, mid lane is taken. The tier 2 is gone. Still looking at this dragon. About 50% for both teams, and they got a lot of spears there for Gorka. Dashing away. Let's go to the blast going in from Niles. Looking for the re-engage. Equalizer trying to separate the fight. Burning down the dragon, getting a lot of damage. Cinnamon Bread again, threatening Scary Jerry. Flashing forward. Does not pick up the kill. It's stolen away by UG to make sure there's no soul potential for UCI. Cinnamon Bread dashing away, but he is getting chased down. Could go for the distortion back, but did not. Instead, now he's in the wrong side of the neighborhood. Will be a slippery enough for LeBlanc to get away.
What is this? No!
No!
Wait, does it get another charge? Wait. It got another charge.
It does. Oh my God.
So
Goodness.
it hits the inhibitor. Cinnamon Bread also uses the flash there in that instance, so really trying to get Scary Jerry out of the pit, but I just don't know if he was necessarily the most important member there. Yuji, such a big playmaker for this team, such an important member when we talk about the pillars of Maryville this last year. I mean, this guy was by and far away the most valuable prospect when we talk about coming out of Challengers League. And it doesn't matter if he's on tanks, it doesn't matter if he's on carries. This guy performs every single time, and it's been consistent, right? It's not just the last 6 months of dominance. It's been multiple months, almost a year and a half now of being one of the best junglers that we have in North America.
And I want to even say like a little bit about Yuji and his backstory. Is this guy has really been putting the work for such a long time, getting a stun on a Mike Young with the Chains of Corruption connecting too. Look at all that damage levied, and you have the wall to get up the retreat. Looking for Excel's impact, grab and Cerulean, but he's pulled away by Fate's Call, so he'll survive. But Yuji, this guy is just so good. Even there, when it looks like he's got out, turn it immediately onto Mike Young.
They also do have a little bit of a gold lead, so he's allowed to make some plays. He is 80 up on his opponent here, almost going for a Flame Horizon in the jungle. We saw it last game as well. Even on the Maokai, this guy was so good in terms of his pathing, making sure that he's picking up camps. And this time around, he's almost 10 CS per minute as a jungler, which is very, very difficult and something that we don't tend to see very often. Hey man, if you've got the hands for it, you might as well put the ball in his hands, because Maryville, they are just always so good in these situations. 5,000 gold up in this situation, and now Baron on the table. They have a very fast Baron take as well. Have to be so careful if you're UCI and you show on an opposite side of the map.
And what I was going to say about Yuji is this guy, back when he played in Mongolia, was playing on 3 different servers, the Korean server, the Chinese server, and the NA server, and was able to get Challenger on all 3 servers with over 100 ping on each one of them. This guy is so good at how he looks around the map, how he controls his opposition, then the micro that he has as they get the pin onto the wall onto Cerulean and follow it up with a stun from Yuji so they can get the resets and then peel back. And there's Baron available if they want to, or they can just look for another kill.
We have 2.5 minutes, so they need to kind of make their chance here. They don't have great side lane control right now, as we saw Cinnamon actually collapsing inward from the top lane. They're going to chase them all the way out through this jungle. There's no way for them to go. They're on the wrong side of the map if you're UCI. Yeah,
you got to juke them at this point. Get tagged there by a little bit of damage, and have Mike Young to escort you. But all 5 are hunting here. This is hunting season of Gorka. That Callista's been spotted out.
They got seen by the rifts, by the empowered scuttle. It's time to fight, brother.
Gorka, you got to fight your way out of this one. They have the depth charge, and Mike Young, he's going to leave you out to dry. Say bye-bye, friend. You got to deal with that on your own.
Okay. But again, Mike Young not dying there means that there's not a Baron, so kind of good looks there. It's just getting hard to talk about now, Magical. I mean, they are so far ahead. It doesn't feel like much. Again, it is only 6,000 gold, but you look, they also are starting to get a level advantage. I mean, Yuji's level 13 at this moment.
Excel's impact. Wait a minute, Cinnamon Bread. Getting attacked, flash in with Impale onto the Mimic too, so it doesn't matter which one it's you. They get the kill, and now that Baron has started up. Mike Young, you got to be a hero in this one. Absolute legend. Think of the Phoenix 1 days. Get in that pit and steal this away from Yuji. But Zyko providing a lot of attention and a lot of protection. They've got Cerulean, the one to step forward. Now with the depth charge connecting. That's an equalizer into the pit. No, Yuji secures it. The Mongolian monster making sure that Maryville will pick up this win. Chasing down any other further kill with resets. Weaver's wall, elated, nowhere to go. Gorka might be able to get a kill on the Spyrex, but he doesn't actually get it. Not enough damage. And Yuji, bye-bye, double kill.
Oh my god, everybody just setting up for him, all of these plays being able to come on through, and Yuji on this Viego, rightfully given keys to the kingdom in this moment. Baron's going to be taken. He's won all the Smite fights this series so far, so Yuji is just on point. He's locked in, ready to go right now. They're going to use this Baron to push on all 3 waves. Spyrex hitting the top tier 2. Bottom lane, Yuji is going to push this in. We've got Dragon spawning in 15 seconds. And I just don't think they're going to have a chance for UCI. I mean, UCI, they can walk into this pit, but they're still missing some ultimates. They're missing some summoner spells. It's just not a great look at this moment. UCI, they tried all they might, but we're at 24 minutes, and we've got that 10,000 gold lead.
It was looking closer in this one. I thought maybe this one would be a possibility for UCI to take it, but Maryville, with the control they have on Vision, the control they have around the map, how they've been playing these macro games and making sure that UCI, we've been looking for those little picks here and there, just were not set up in a good position. That early game we talked from UCI that they had with the strap, it's gone now completely. Yeah. All of this is just Maryville.
And this all comes back to, as we kind of see Maryville use this Genji Baron buff to push out their waves. just a situation where I think draft was a really big issue, whether it be champion size or champion oceans or pools for these teams, or maybe just individual play. I just don't think they've used their drafts very, very well. I mean, we're using R5 LeBlanc. Oh, the sneakiest LeBlanc. The sneakiest LeBlanc.
No
anyway,
way.
We're using R5 LeBlanc into this Maryville composition, which I think is very hard to execute. Then we go into game 1, and we see a situation where they just have a Cassante into Twisted Fate as your R5. I just don't think they're using the counters properly.
No, as Mike Young getting chased away by Yuji. 4 levels down to his competition, and Intel somehow landing. If I'm Mike Young, I'm upset about that. But he gets killed. Chain of Corruption, Cinnamon Bread, looking for the back line, but Spyrex gonna ride the wave on out of there. Double kill for Yuji. Chasing down these low health bar members with Scary Jerry surviving. Does die to the orb, but they even got the dive if they want to look for this one onto Elated and onto Cerulean. And it's Yuji saying, I want the kills, I want the gold. Flashing right there to pick up the kill. God, like Yuji. Elated, your time has come. It's only a matter of time before you die. Maryville again, claiming victory. Their second one, best of 5. Looking to make it a 3-0 cleanly. This top team of Collegiate, top team in Challengers, nothing seems like it can stop them at all.
Oh, man. What a great job for Maryville, putting up 2 games convincingly. I think there was a lot of conversations at the beginning of the CLOL bracket where we got to see some of our top teams lose individual games to teams that I think they definitely shouldn't have. But Maryville going full steam ahead. They're not taking any chances. They are just playing really, really well individually. And again, I do want to say this was the expectation coming into the series. Maryville are expected to potentially win this entire tournament, and UCI are not the kings that they were in the past. This is a roster that maybe can build into a better top 8 or a really strong top 8 later and maybe next year with this roster, but this is just not a roster that we're expecting to have a lot of firepower and deal a lot of damage inside the bracket.
Plus playing against Maryville. It's definitely a rough draw for them that they have to face off against a team that is looking this good. They're just looking fantastic. You can even tell that they're maybe playing with a little bit of pride with some of the plays they make, but they're still very clean on a lot of their macro calls and how they move around the map, how they set up the vision control to really suffocate their competition, like against Wake Tech. Last week we saw them do that. We see that this week they're doing the exact same thing against UCI, and I feel like no team really can compete with them on that, and it's just, at least not yet, until we get into that top 8. And for UCI, it's just about how do you maybe play your own game style. Don't play Maryville's, maybe play to your own strengths. I
will say they also just got unlucky on this bracket.
Yes, very unlucky.
That's mad unlucky. There were, in terms of a top 4, a lot of people are looking at Maryville, Winthrop, we're looking at Ole Miss, and some people are having SLU in as well as our top 4 potentially when you see a bunch of people making their brackets. It's unfortunate for any team to be immediately slotted in. It's like, okay, cool, you won your first round, that's awesome, you get this nice wave of adrenaline, then you look at your next matchup and you're like, damn, I have to play against Maryville. Which, again, if you're going to win this tournament, you're going to have to face them anyway 9 times out of 10 unless something unlucky happens in the bracket. So it's good to get it out of the way. It's just unfortunate for them. And also, they are also just getting bodied. Right? Like, Maryville are just outplaying them.
We've been seeing that even in Challengers. We saw that in Challengers. They were bodying teams there. This is a strong team, and they are up 2-0 here in our College Championship Series in the round of 16. But we're going to toss to a break. When we come back, we'll get ready for our 3rd game. Could be the final one. Could be a sweep there for Maryville, or UCI could bounce back. But we'll see you after the break.